All right, talk to me about Shedeur Sanders, because Colorado, Deion Sanders, everything that's going on there at the moment is kind of crazy. One of the biggest storylines in college football, Deion going from Jackson State, going to Colorado, essentially bringing a team with him through the transfer portal, and now they look like one of the best teams in college football. And, they're making a lot of noise deliberately, right? Like they want the hype, they want the buzz, they want the attention. And that includes, Shedeur Sanders, a quarterback who's talking about Matt Rule and, all these kinds of things pre and post game. So they're coming with a lot of like fairly obnoxious attitude. So I came in not wanting to like him. He's really good. Really good.
No, he is. Look, so first of all, what he's doing is nothing new. I mean, you go back to the last 2 years of him starting at Jackson State, 2021 and 2022. He had an adjusted completion percentage of, I think, around 60 or 76 when he was a first-year starter for them. And then it was in the 80s last year. Well, now it's 83% of an adjusted completion percentage. So that is incredibly high. That's an incredibly high number. And it speaks to the timing, the accuracy, how well he's able to go through his progressions, where he knows his receivers are going to be, obviously the ball placement. It's just all through the roof for him right now. I went into the season with Sanders, and I was impressed with the Jackson State tape. But I wondered, okay, when you'll go up against Power 5 competition, especially in the trenches, does that time to throw get a little bit faster? Are you dealing with pressure a little bit more? How does that affect how you go through things? Like, are you a little bit slower? Are you going to be reacting? Is the accuracy and the decision-making, is that going to take a dip? Well, it clearly has not here in the early parts of this season. He has been a cerebral assassin with where the ball is going and how it is getting there. And that has been unbelievably impressive. I had him as sort of like a fringe, I would say, day 3, day 2 prospect, someone like a third, fourth round pick going into the season, because as much as I loved the accuracy from him, it felt like he had to kind of put his full body into it to really push balls down the field beyond 40 yards when it came to having that velocity and distance combination. And, that arm talent is what people talk about. And I wondered how much was there for him. And even though I still have that in my mind, because arm talent just doesn't magically change, how accurate this guy is, how incredible he has been under pressure, because he's the number one FBS quarterback that we have graded under pressure right now. He has the most passing yards under pressure, and I think he has the top 5 adjusted completion percentage under pressure as well. So dealing with pressure at a phenomenal level and being able to put the ball exactly where it needs to go almost always, that stuff plays. The mental processing and just precision from him isn't just good. It's not just like, oh yeah, we'll check those boxes for him. They are A+ things for him. They are statements on his scouting report. And so even if you don't have the greatest arm in the world, if you are this much of an assassin with the football when it comes to ball placement and accuracy, you can play in the league. So if he keeps doing this throughout the course of this season, man, we're going to talk about him as potentially a QB3 first-round quarterback in his class.
Of the 4 guys that I was watching, and look, it's first look for me, so it's only initial impressions, but I was most impressed by Sanders of the 4. Like I was really impressed by him. I thought his arm looked really good. He doesn't uncork it that often. Like I think he deliberately does not put a lot into a lot of these throws. He's more interested in the accuracy, and like he varies his throws more than any of these other guys, whether it's trajectory, touch, velocity, like the number of different types of throws he has deliberately and consciously throughout the course of a game is way more than any of these other guys. Like J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, who we'll get onto, it's like every pass he attempts is like the bullet pass from Madden, right? All I know is hold down the button. That's all I'm doing. Whereas everything Sanders does is varied. But I thought like every now and again you'll get to a throw where he's like, okay, this one needs the full bar. And yes. I was impressed. Like when he unleashes it, it's powerful, the arm.
Dude, he is somebody who, it's tough not to get caught too much up into this, because you love watching prospects and thinking that there's still something in the tank.
Right.
When you watch somebody and you feel like they're close to their ceiling, even if the ceiling's really high, sometimes you have a chance to, or sometimes you have a tendency to like not think as highly of them because you don't need as much imagination. With Sanders, he is so fundamentally sound with every throw that even if I think that his arm talent isn't as great as some other guys in this class, he gets the most out of what he has physically because of how good his fundamentals are. And I think that is also something that is worth noting and something that is incredibly impressive about who he is as a quarterback.
Yeah, I felt a little bit like, so Bryce Young, I think a lot of people underestimate how good his arm is because it doesn't look like he's putting effort into the throws. Like the ball seems to come out of his hand disproportionate relative to the effort he looks like he's putting into it, right? The other end of that spectrum is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who every throw he's ever attempted looked like he was draining his entire life essence to try and get the ball 15 yards away, right? But Bryce Young, it's like it doesn't look like he's putting any effort at all, and yet somehow it leaps out of his hand and actually goes way further and more powerfully than you expect it to. Sanders felt like that, and it wasn't just the throwing. Like everything he did looked easy. Like he would just sort of slide around and evade defenders and skid out of their way and, just put on a small little burst of acceleration, outrun them. Man, again, it's only a couple of games. It's the first games I've seen of him, but he looked really impressive. I thought he was very, very good.